Right, it's 18 minutes before 8 o'clock here on this Friday morning. So while the move by Eskom to cut the number of executives has been described as plausible by most energy analysts, the National Union of Mineworkers, or NUM, says they were not consulted about these plans. In a statement, the power utility cited the increase in operating costs as the reason behind the retrenchments. A 2016 World Bank report which benchmarked the utility against South American electricity utilities showed that Eskom was overstaffed by 66%. To discuss this further, we have in studio with us the National Secretary of NUM's National Youth Structure, Bonginkosi Mrasi. Thank you very much for coming in. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you, Elian. Good morning. Good morning to everyone at home.
So how did you learn about the retrenchments?
Look, our members indicated that there is a brief that came out, it was last week, that was just telling people that how do you understand retrenchment, what is retrenchment, with no reason. And then we get the letter, we've learned, and then they've just written about 189. Later, I think earlier this week, we were told that they've started consulting with senior managers.
Now, when we look at these possible retrenchments, how many do you believe that could possibly be retrenched workers?
Currently, they haven't given us the number, as we're indicating that we're not being consulted. But the rough figure that we're able to estimate is around about 6,000 to 7,000 workers that can be affected.
Yeah. My understanding through all of this is that this is a very also going to affect management of Eskom. So it's not just your blue-collar worker necessarily, it's across the board again, and management is going to be quite adversely affected by this. Is that your understanding as well?
True, it is. It is going to start on the senior managers and then goes down to a worker at the power station or the floor down there. But we've got also members in senior managers, which are amounting to 700 members that we have. So we are saying that even though it affects senior managers, we must be consulted on that so that we can be able to bring mechanism in place that can be able to assist on the situation.
Yeah. So do you not think that this is a step in the right direction, though? I understand that there are job losses at stake here, but the fact that it's across the board looking at senior levels and management positions, that they are looking at starting on the retrenchment process, do you think that this is a positive move?
No, not at all. Losing jobs can be in a step in the right direction. What we are saying that let us be consulted. Let us sit around the table, bring ideas that we can be able to say, how do we save the utility? Look, there are several things that we can bring, how to save costs. Firstly, we want to say, let us stop purchasing the IPPs, which are also taking a lot of money from Eskom. So cutting jobs can be a step in the right direction because it means that a worker will go home without any food to put on the table.
Yeah.
And we're meaning thousands of workers that will be affected and the surrounding community of Mpumalanga.
Yeah. But if you look at the financial status of Eskom, Eskom is in a dire situation. And the reality is that the lights in South Africa could go off. And that is becoming more and more of a reality. What do you suggest gets done? If it isn't for cutting back on jobs, cutting back on staff salary, what do you suggest should be done at Eskom?
You know, if you're a company, you want to come right in terms of your finances. Retrenchment must be the last resort in terms of your mind. There are mechanisms that you can put in place. Firstly, that is why I was saying that we can't hear that Eskom is currently having a financial crisis, but whilst they are buying or purchasing IPPs that are worth of millions and billions of rands. So it indicates that Eskom is not having challenges in terms of finances. So I'm saying that let's sit down, engage and see other mechanisms. Retrenchments must be the last resort, where we say that we've done everything and then we couldn't save in terms of the cost implications.
This is a drop in the ocean. You do know this. I mean, if we have to look back at something that the finance minister, the now finance minister, Tito Mboweni, mentioned, is that we should be looking at close to 30,000 job retrenchments at Eskom. mean, that must be worrying. I mean, here we're talking about 6,000, but the bigger picture is close to 30,000, and this after a finding that Eskom is 66% overstaffed. Something has to be done about these inflated numbers.
Look, you're also mentioning that 30,000. It can be more than 30,000 because it also talks to the coal mines that are surrounding the area, which if ever they continue with closing the 3 power stations, it will mean that those mines must also be closed as well. That also talk to the communities in terms of your shops that are around Mpumalanga that also be closed. So it can go to up to 90 to 100,000 if ever we can be able to talk real numbers that are going to be affected. But look, we are angered about the statement or the words by the recently populist finance minister Tito Mbeweni, telling us about numbers that we must be able to cut to be able to save Eskom. We are saying that he must firstly consult with us. We've got ideas in place that we can be able to assist and rescue the utility.
Yeah, we can be angry with anyone at this point, but when you look at the numbers, 387 billion rand in debt. That's the number we're looking at Eskom right now.
Sure.
Over the next 4 years, that could rise to 600 billion rand. What do you advise is done? I mean, how do you get out of this situation?
As you are saying that we've got ideas in place.
Well, give me an idea.
We are saying that firstly, let us stop purchasing IPPs. Those are millions of rands that we are going to be able to save. Let us stop doing business unnecessary with companies that we know that are related to some individuals that wants to benefit out of Eskom. Then we are going to be able to save. Look, there's other ideas that we can be able to put when we're in a meeting. But we are saying that cutting off jobs must be not be something that must be put in front, and so that we can be able to say that we are cutting jobs, and then that can only save the utility.
Yeah.
That must be the last resort, as I said.
Yeah. Look, I mean, we're still looking at tariff increases as South Africans as well, because there's this proposal again from Eskom to increase tariffs, get more money from South Africans to get it back into Eskom,
Sure.
to try and foot the bill for all of this, and yet there are defaulting municipalities that are not paying their bills at Eskom. So this is a vicious circle, and yet I'd like to go back to that report that came out saying that Eskom is 66% overstaffed. It's a World Bank report. Do you agree with this or not?
No, we don't. We don't agree. We think that the current staff that is there in Eskom, it is relevant. What we need to do is to check on the cost issues that they are raising. And we are saying that they must not see labor as a cost, because labor are the one that are producing and generating the electricity for the country to go on in terms of lights. So we can't be seen as a cost that for them to survive, they need to cut us.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
We really need to put plans in place through the board, this Tumamina board, that must be able to listen to workers, because they're very arrogant, I must indicate. Allow workers to engage them so that we can be able to bring more mechanisms in place and assist the utility currently.
Did you prefer management under Brian Molefe?
No. We know what Brian Molefe has done.
So why are you against this one, this management structure as well?
We are, we are saying because they are not consulting unions. They don't recognize unions. They've recently announced that there's a new business model that they want to introduce, and they're continuing with it without consulting unions. So, and we know that they are having an agenda, they're driving an agenda, they're being given a mandate to make sure that they deal with workers. And that is why we're saying that we'll never agree with anyone that is there to deal with workers.
All right, we're going to take a very quick break here on the program, and then we'll come back, we'll wrap up the conversation, and perhaps get some views from anybody that's watching who'd like to put your word to the conversation of Eskom. We'll be back after the break just to end off this conversation. Do stay tuned.